Camera March is drawing to a close, leaving behind inspiring films, engaging discussions, and cherished moments spent with friends and colleagues from around the world. Now I'm heading to Berlin.
Today I'm at the Ernst Busch Academy of Dramatic Arts here in Berlin to meet Fabio Thieme, the director of Silent Disco and a close friend, to reflect on the project together. Come along with me.
Das ist mein Hund. Den brauchen wir jetzt noch. Ne? Introduce yourself and also pitch the project.
Yeah, hi, I'm Fabio. I'm a director and screenwriter. Yeah, I had the pleasure to shoot with you Silent Disco, our project consisting of 3 stereoscopic 360-degree movies. So it's a physical VR experience, which means that you can experience it on a VR headset, but also it has a component of physicality that you actually experience it with other people in the same room in a club-like atmosphere. And what you're seeing inside is a rave party or a Totentanz, or you're on a stage of a surreal strip club. But what you see from the outside is people watching it. And when they're watching it, they're actually in a party. So they're probably dancing or they're moving. And then happens a performance when you're actually watching the viewers behave to the video. And they forget that they are actually having a physical body because they're immersed in this reality. So there's always these 2 layers.
And when you saw all these people at our little premiere, how did you feel?
Yeah, I love it because you're coming to the room and what you're seeing is a very surreal looking crowd of people because there are 20, 25 people. They're all wearing a VR headset and they're dancing and it feels like a very dystopian party at the end of the world. But also there's a really beautiful aspect about it because we have a really nice soundtrack playing in the background. There is a certain sadness and a certain beauty about this collective isolation because we're all alone, but we're together alone. And we're having a party.
What sparked the idea to do Silent Disco?
Yeah, basically I shot a party scene for one of my first short films.
Ich brauche eine Pause.
Hey, weißt du in den 90ern?
Ah, wir sehen uns in den 90ern.
Hey, wohin gehst du?
Da, wo das Wasser nach Wein schmeckt.
And what we try to do is having a camera turning around very, very slowly for 5 minutes and capturing kind of a psychedelic attraction of a party and the swirling motion. But it didn't really work because you were not really there. And we tried to have like a kind of a Berlin rave party atmosphere. And I suddenly had this idea to really capture this energy. You would have to be there yourself. And how can you do that? And at this point, I didn't have any idea about VR. And I'm always interested in theater and film because I'm kind of doing both. And VR for me is exactly in the middle of these because you're kind of directing like you're directing a theater. But actually, you're recording a film and you have all these technical aspects to it that are really interesting for me.
And you described it's a connection between performance, film and theater for you, right?
Yeah, I think it's such a new medium that you actually have a way to tell stories how they were never told before. And when does that ever happen, that you actually have a new medium where you can, what is it to have a slow motion on the VR? What is it to play with the time? What is it to play with colors? So we have black and white film. We have the puppetry in there. How's the effect of puppetry? then we have an elevator and you're really there. You couldn't do this in a cinema or in theater, but we built an elevator in this room and you'll feel like you're really traveling to hell. Or you can bring people on a strip club. How many times have you been on a stage in a strip club in your life? You actually get looked at. And this feeling of getting looked at is also something specific to VR, because in theater you can always look at one person, but in VR you look at the camera and you look at all of the audience at the same time. And it has a different feeling than if you watch it on a film, because people are really looking at you.
Check out our trailer. How was the casting process?
Yeah, so the first rehearsals, you can imagine, was that we hosted a couple of house parties and we just put a camera there, and we had people play around with that just to experience that. And there was some really weird footage that I still have somewhere. And well, when we finally made it to shooting it, then actually it was a great support of the school here, and it was a great support of my friends. And I just casted a lot of people in the way that they are and in the way that they want to have parties, or just giving them a certain small role in which they can express and celebrate themselves in a way. And I also had the luck that a lot of great dancers and professionals were with us in the team. And I love this combination of working with friends who are not actors, but they're really good at this one thing, or they have this great energy. And that's exactly what we needed for this project. Yeah, and then we had the most amazing team, without which this would have been completely impossible.
So it was a process of typecasting.
We're just running through the room and they're kind of making monkey noises at me, and I don't know what the fuck is going on, but we could use it in a really good way because people felt really free to express themselves. And a lot of this stuff was not scripted at all, but it just came up during the rehearsal, and then we were just like, oh yeah, that's good, and give us more, and it worked really well, I think.
Ganz kurz zum Licht. Titan Tubes machen, auch Titan Tubes, zack, zack, mit dem Orbiter dran. Aber hier kriegen wir noch Practicals. Egal, noch einen Orbiter dran machen mit einer C-Clamp. Hier noch ein Sky-Panel hinmachen. Hier auch nochmal ein Sky-Panel hinmachen. Nochmal 3 Sky-Panels hinmachen. Auch noch einen Orbiter.
And then there were also these technical discussions. Maybe you can tell us what the influence on the directing process was.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I'm never in the room when I'm directing VR piece. I'm sitting somewhere else and I'm watching it on the screen. And that's kind of weird because with theater, you would always be kind of there as close as you can be. And even with the film, you try to be there, but you're not. So, and we all shot each movie in one take. So it's like 15 minutes, the door closes and they're doing their thing and we just pray.
I mean, I had influence on the lighting design.
Right. And we had a self-playing piano that we also powered with a fucking Hoover from the other room. So that was something that we could also, basically you didn't have anything to do. It was an easy job for you.
It was quite easy. Yeah, let's talk about what was not so easy.
Basically, nothing was easy about this project. I lost like a month of my life trying to get the self-playing piano to work. Yeah, everything. I mean, we had great support from technicians here, like rigging the lights in the floor on the top for the elevator shooting, building the elevator, making it seem like it's going down, having a perfect choreography about it. Then we had puppeteering and we had 8 dancing skeletons. We had live country bluegrass music playing there, dancing around the camera. Yeah, we have made a deal with the strip club owner. Yeah, so many people involved in this project. And we had so many times where it almost failed. So like our whole shoot got canceled one day before we had everything that you could possibly have, but always it worked out fine in the end. So yeah.
How do these 3 films connect?
So I think what all connects them is that they're very psychedelic and that in a way they're about the ecstatic dance and about death. And that's just because that's the kind of stuff that I'm into and what interests me. And the meeting point is kind of the ecstatic point of it, the absolute joy, which is the absolute death in a weird way. And I'm really into this motive of Danse Macabre, so Totentanz, which is a medieval motive of dancing skeletons, which shows in a way like a kind of a happy death, but also it shows us that we all die, and it also shows us that there can be something beautiful about it if you transform something like a death into art. And there's just something so obscure and something that I just never know what exactly it means, but it really touches me, and I'm really into country music. So I had this idea to make a kind of a bluegrass country dance of death out of it. The other films also relate to these topics in a way, because this elevator is ultimately going to hell, which is inspired by me being in a party in Berlin and having this kind of experience that we're kind of going to hell. And in the strip club movie, there are these mirrors behind you if you're on a strip club stage. And what we did is we exchanged these mirrors with a view of the front. So we doubled the room, and you're not seeing your mirror image, but you're actually seeing a dancer from some kind of other dimension that is in contact with you. So there's a relationship between the bodies. They are sometimes physical, sometimes they're not. But the moment of perception, something very interesting is happening there. So that's another thing that all movies combine.
Yeah, if you like to hear more about Silent Disco, we could do a part 2 where we discuss the project. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you,
for sharing about Silent Disco.
Cheers.
After the interview, we dropped by the Apple Store to see Silent Disco on Vision Pro. I hadn't arranged a filming permit with Apple PR, so yeah, we couldn't shoot there. I gave it another try in Cologne, and the Apple staff was super welcoming. Thanks to everyone involved in this video, and especially to our amazing cast and crew of Silent Disco. Let's roll those credits.